Hey, what's up, beautiful people? This is your November monthly energy report. And thank you for following. Thank you for liking, for sharing. Please hit that notification button down there and like and share and subscribe, all that good stuff. All right. So we just had 4 planets move direct here in October. And after it started moving forward, right? That's a lot of energy that was internal and looking to shift and change and move. But now that Mercury especially is out of retrograde, and there was Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn all in retrograde, we are coming into this crux for next year. And whatever, especially with Saturn moving direct, right, in Aquarius, this is really about moving through karmic lessons, moving through karmic issues, even ancestrally. I've been working with a lot of people pulling ancestral trauma out of a lot of people, and it's like it because it's so much energy at once from so many transpersonal planets. This is soul level cleansing, like power washing. Okay, Jupiter makes it big and Pluto makes it deep. Mercury makes it communicative, so the heart and the mind are trying to communicate, but we can also be stubborn, like I know a lot of us are, and because of the massive amount of change that's so quick, is going to really challenge us to let go, to surrender, and to move into whatever it is that's happening, whether it seems good or bad from your perspective on the outside. It's happening for a reason, in order to teach you what you need to know in order to elevate to the next highest vibration. Okay, so November is when we come into our next eclipse season, and the energy is just going to start to move forward, really. So all these planets, they move very slowly, except for Mercury. Mercury moves pretty fast, right? So the communication, understanding the energies that are coming in is going to be coming in the fastest, but the actual implementation of the understanding of these energies is going to take a while, because these energies, as they're sitting there stationary, it's like we're simmering in this energy. So maybe we have a thought or understanding, or we're kind of going nuts trying to process all this stuff, especially if you're used to compartmentalizing, right? If you're compartmentalizing these energies, it's going to be very confusing, because that is still a form of control. And while this energy is teaching us how to let go of control, now on the world stage, we're going to also start to see more restrictions trying to, it's like this whole narrative of everything that's going on in the world. It's like they're still sticking to it, even though nobody fucking believes this shit anymore, right? It's complete bullshit, and we all know it, yet they're still doubling down and doubling down. Every time they double down, they're getting more and more resistance, and more people are stepping up, not necessarily fighting back, which I think is a good thing, but more like making their own decision in looking at, okay, I can work on going towards my stability and security in my fear, or I can go into the unknown and follow my heart with love and have faith that something better is going to come along. I guarantee you what, especially with Jupiter still in Aquarius, a lot of new opportunities that are more based on communal, like coming together with like-minded people and building something new. For example, like, we saw all these police are now getting offers to go down to Florida and getting a bonus. Florida right now is leading the way, where there's no new cases, and all these people that are living for freedom are going down there to live, to start a new life. Not only that, but we're starting to see a really true divide between the two different sides of what's going on. So have faith, stay in your heart, and do what you feel is right, like ethically and morally to you. Okay, so to start November, we have a yod. The center point of the yod is the sun, and it's quincunx to Black Moon Lilith and Chiron. And then, of course, Black Moon Lilith and Chiron are sextiles. So this tells me that literally immediately, we're going to be having some wounds coming up to be looked at, especially our sexual desires with relationships, our deep wounds associated. Like, typically speaking, our sexual energy is what gets us in trouble, right? If we say we're in a relationship and we're not super satisfied and whatever's going on, like that's going to come up as opportunities for you to either speak your truth or do something that is going to get you in trouble, and you probably shouldn't do it. So again, these layers of fear versus faith are coming up over and over again. And it's gonna speed up. People keep asking, when's this going to go back to normal? When are things going to get better? And normal and or better is a state of mind, it's a perspective. It's not something across the board. There's just going to be massive amounts of change, definitely for the next decade, guys. So, things are not going to look the same, even the middle of next year. All right. Next year's energies are fucking intense, especially having the North Node conjunct Uranus is going to be one really big one. And these energies are happening in the middle of the year. And I'm going to make another video on 2022 energies, right? But also the Jupiter Neptune conjunction is we're gonna really see a lot of extravagant new things coming up, and people just calling out the system and calling out the bullshit. The first few months I think are going to be a little difficult, and then once Aries, once like the zodiac starts over from the beginning, I think that's going to really show us where we're going to be standing up, and a lot of shifting and actual actionable change is going to start to happen and take place. Okay, but this winter may be a little difficult. Just going to throw it out there, because again, we're coming into a whole new level and layer of change with the nodes shifting as well. And even though the nodes haven't shifted yet, at the end of the month on the 19th, we're going to have a lunar eclipse at 27 degrees Taurus, which is right on top of the Pleiades, which is very powerful and good because the Pleiadians very, very high vibration energy. But it is, right there in Taurus, where Taurus is stubborn as hell. Right, whatever house that's in your chart, like that for me is in my second house. So about self-confidence, self-worth, making money, like self-responsibilities. And, I'm looking forward to seeing what that brings, but I'm also like a little nervous, because that always brings in something that's going to challenge, your self-worth. And I have Chiron right around that area as well. It's at 5 degrees, but, with Chiron around there, like for me personally, self-confidence and self-worth has always been a big struggle for me, believe it or not. All right. That's why when I was a kid, I got picked on in school. So what I do, I lifted weights and got huge. So nobody could fuck with me. Right. Now, of course, that has shifted and evolved and changed over the years. But my point is that get ready to face some of your self-confidence, self-worth things going on. All right. And of course, on the 4th of November, we have a new moon at 12 degrees of Scorpio. Now, this new moon is, a new start and digging deeper in our consciousness. Again, looking at like Scorpio is the detective, but when coming into Scorpio season, we're going to see a lot of karmic, like the 8th house is very karmic, right? And Scorpio rules the 8th house. Even if Scorpio is not in your 8th house, it's going to be bringing up a lot of deep stuff to look at that may be difficult to look at. That's going to sort of be the theme for November, looking at shit that we don't want to look at, and really being honest with ourselves and humble enough to be able to make these changes and make the moves into the places that we want to make. All right. A couple of significant aspects that we're going to have. We're going to have Venus moving into Capricorn. All right. And Venus is going to be in Capricorn for until I believe March of next year, which is a very long time because we're going to be coming into a Venus retrograde here at the end of December. So it's actually Venus is going into shadow. So whatever is coming up for you towards the end of November, all right, pay attention because that's going to be lasting. There's going to be a big lesson in this. And this is in our foundations, not to mention it's going to be retrograding right on top of Pluto. Oh boy. So you want to talk about making it deep, like this could be financial stuff. This could be like changes or being like honest with yourself about things that you want, passions, desires, depending on what house it is in your chart, things that you want to accomplish, things that make you feel good inside, right? And also, too, we're going to be having Mars and Venus conjuncting in Capricorn right on top of Pluto here in the next couple months. I'll talk about that when it gets closer. But, with the nodes in the process of shifting, right now it's at 1 degrees. All right. So it's going to be only, it sits at 1 and 0 degrees for a while, but that is some of the deepest energies because sort of like when a planet goes retrograde, right? When it's station retrograde, the energy is the deepest when it's at 1, 0, and then 29 degrees. Those are anorectic degrees. And that's when the fundamental shift takes place from the mutability of the energy to the fixedness of the energy of Taurus and Scorpio. Right. So major shifts in directions in life and relationships. Maybe you're going to move, maybe you're going to get a new job, maybe you got fired from a job, maybe, things could be coming up, challenges that are going to say, okay, are you going to take this, or are you going to, be a sovereign being and, trust your immune system and keep yourself healthy? Really, that's the two sides of everything that's going on. And if any of you guys are interested in natural ways and remedies to keep yourself strong, to keep yourself from being sick, I have many different ways that I use to keep myself healthy and optimized in my health and keep my immune system booming. So you let me know if you haven't heard of NAD. NAD IV infusions are amazing. Of course, different plant medicines work incredibly well, but also like these technologies, like the vibroacoustic sound lounge, like ozone therapy, infrared saunas, the med bed. I mean, there's just so many different ways that you can keep yourself healthy these days. And of course, you're going to need to supplement with certain nutrients. You need to find out what nutrients that your body needs. That's, Euphoria is really good for that. The Viome test is really good for that. All these things, I'll put them in the description box below, or you can just message me and I'll, speak to you individually. If you're interested in coaching as well, I'm happy to do that for you. All right. So on the 9th of November, we see Mercury conjuncting Mars. Again, that's a fairly common one, but again, that's getting insight and highlights about what we want. Now, as long as we're in a state of faith, we're going to get the perspective we're going to see it from is going to help us grow and learn. But if we're in a state of fear, this could bring up fears and make them look more realistic and be like, oh shit, how are we going to navigate this, right? So awareness and objective observation of our thoughts and of the ego is going to be really important around this time. It's really important really with everything going on, but especially that. Okay. Then on the 22nd, we have the sun moving into Sagittarius. And of course, so happy birthday to all you Sagittarians. And of course, backing up, happy birthday right now to all you Scorpios. I know I got Venus and Scorpio. Scorpio is definitely the sexiest sign in the zodiac. So what's up, Scorpios? You sexy bitches. On the 25th, we have Mercury going into Sag. And then on the 28th, you have Mercury conjuncting the sun again. So we're going to be doing a lot of communication with our heart, with our soul. And, of course, the first Mercury, on the 9th, Mercury conjoins Mars. On the 28th, Mercury conjoins the sun. So Mercury conjuncting Mars can be frustration. It can be irritation, especially with that in Scorpio. Digging deep within and seeing your own flaws, or seeing a situation really like somebody fucked you over, fuck you, I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna get back at you. We don't want to sink down into the shadow aspect of Mars, because Mars is the god of war, but we can take that energy and move it into passion, and that passion is what's going to get us through and move us into a better place and better timelines. Okay, so we all have major choices to make here in the next few months as we come into this fixed kind of energy. That's why things are going to seem to be speeding up. And like, fuck, I got to make this decision. I have to make this move. I got to understand this. Don't rush yourself too much. Take your time as these energies coming up. Think of them as like bubbles. Like if you've been underwater for a while, right? You need to release a little bubble here and there to sustain for just a little longer. All right. Then when it's finally ready to come up, once those nodes shift, then you can breathe out all the air, okay, and come up from. But if you breathe out all the air too fast, now you're fucked. Now, like, you have no air in your lungs, and now you got to stay in the water for longer. You're going to start to feel like, you're suffocating and freak out, and the fear is going to take over. All right. You're going to feel like you're drowning. So we don't want to drown in that energy. We want to be open and trust and have faith. But it's going to be teetering on that line where, you're underwater and, you're starting to run out of air. You can start, doing that, like a little breathing on the inside, right? And then let out one little air. That gives you another couple seconds. All right, we're sitting right on that threshold with major change and major opportunity, but also major challenges, because we are, as our vibration raises, we're going to be challenged with new things that are going to be, teaching us to level up. And however that looks for you, we're not going to really know, like, when situations and timelines like this happen, it's about really being in the present moment and choosing the best thing for yourself and for everyone involved. So if you're in an unhappy relationship and you're just like, you're kind of going through it because of obligation, well, if you leave that relationship, yeah, it might hurt a little bit at first, but overall it's going to be beneficial for everybody, because you're not enabling a dysfunctional situation anymore. Okay, so these are all things that you want to think of and consider while going through this. And as we come into eclipse season, just know that, especially even like from the beginning of November to the end of the year, this shit's going to hit us, and it's going to hit us hard. All right. We're probably going to see shortages in food and gas and other supplies around the world because of this bullshit that they're all doing, so be prepared, this is where we need to learn to use our left and right brain together, and also connect our head to our heart together, so that we're all communicating on the same plane. All right, so that's what I got for you guys for the month of November. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you all. If you'd like a reading from me, or if you like, to work with me in any form or fashion, I live in LA now, so I'm doing a lot of really cool work here. So if you're in LA, especially, hit me up. But if not, anywhere, I'm down to connect with you. I love you all very much, and I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful month of November. I hope.